I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaga Diamond. What's up, people? How you doing? Oh, it is a great day. And yes, I have an author on the show. Now, listen, I love authors only because, nowadays with the stories that are coming out, it's just so beautiful. And then you have these fiction stories and these people with the biographies and all kinds of different things coming out. And all of these stories that can help us learn, get through trials and tribulations, instruct us on how to do things, food, and all kinds of stuff. And my next guest is no stranger to this. Okay, Mr. Orville. Well, I'm going to say Orville, right? Orville Mann. Aha! I think I did it right. Just like he said,
You
like
did.
Orville Redenbacher, right? Which we all know. He may just be. We don't know. So we have an amazing author here today, and I'm so excited to present him to you guys. Mr. Orville Mann is on the show. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So, Mr. Mann, I am so excited to have you. First of all, because your first name is Orville and it just reminds me of popcorn. I don't know why. But definitely because you're an amazing author. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I am 83 years old. I uh, I went to school in a small 4-room school where they had all 8 grades and two levels of the school, uh, 2 stories. And then graduated, went to Hanover High School, which is Hanover, Indiana. And then I went to a Bible school down in Breathitt County, Kentucky, and joined the National Guard when I was 17 and went up through the ranks. And I was commissioned as second lieutenant in 1965. And I was called to the ministry and resigned my commission as first lieutenant. And during the interim there, I married this nice looking Kentucky woman. And I was from Indiana and she's from Kentucky. And I tell people I got tired of swimming across the river, so I asked her to marry me. Anyhow, we had 2 children. Right now we have 5 grandchildren, 6 great grandchildren. I am a pastor. I've been with the current church I pastor for 30 years. So pastored several places in the United States.
Wow.
One
Wow.
one missionary trip to Bolivia. That
Mm,
that was a very interesting and challenging trip. It was
must
great.
have been.
I was glad to get back on American soil.
It must have been. I mean, to be going to a different country for ministry, it's really not that easy. It really isn't because you're going into the remote parts of the country itself to bring the word. Wow.
I
Wow.
knew enough Spanish to get in trouble. I told
I can tell.
I've told people when we went to Miami that was the first culture shock we've had because of all the different languages there at the Miami airport.
Oh yeah. Miami is a international hub. Yes, it definitely is.
Yes.
Wow. So, okay, so you knew enough Spanish to get yourself in trouble. What did your wife say about that?
Well, she was with me.
You guys
Yeah,
must have had a blast. I know it was hard, but and then going back
it
home.
was a missionary effort.
Mm,
We spoke at a pastor's retreat, and there was a lot of poor pastors. I mean, financially poor
mhm.
pastors there. But it was a great time as we worshiped together. I spoke through this. I spoke, and then the Spanish interpreter interpreted to Amara Indian, and then the Amara Indian. He really made it sound good. He was. You could tell people came to the altar and wept with large tears. It was just amazing.
Mm. That is amazing. Wow. So okay, so The Adventures of George Lee, A Race Against Time. How did the book come into play for you?
Well, my cousin was having trouble finishing up a book, and I helped him. Uh, it was called The Ghost of Chicken Run Road, and I helped him finish that. And I enjoyed it so much, I said, well, I'll just write one of my own. And so I liked it so well. So I've written 3 now. So that must have liked it pretty good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What is your writing process?
I usually just start out, and then where I think life would normally lead, that's the way I don't use notes. I don't make notes beforehand, but I don't have an outline beforehand. I just write as it comes, kind of like life. So
I
that's
hear
my
you.
logic.
As it comes, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me about The Adventures of George Lee without giving don't give up a lot, but just give us a little bit of something.
Well, it's about uh, a career officer. He had some combat experience, but now he had an assignment to check out a place where they could have a uh, work and create an anti super weapon to destroy that. They wanted to create a weapon that would destroy that super weapon. And he worked with both military and civilian personnel there on that's a secret island, which had been used by the military prior to that time.
Mm, wow. Wow. So okay, so this is a fiction story.
Yes, ma'am. You
Mm.
have a couple things in there that relate to me as a child. There was one time when I was plowing in the field in southern Indiana, and of course plows have a furrow, and you have one wheel down in that furrow, and that guides the plow to the next where it plows up, fills the furrow. Well, anyhow, I was driving along, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw some movement, and there was snakes wrapped around the wheel. Yeah, that was really. I was about 14. I kicked the tractor out of gear, left it running, jumped off on the other side of
Oh
the,
my
of
gosh.
the
That must have been
tractor, went
scary.
to Grandpa and said, "Dad, I can't, I can't go back out there. I'm scared of those snakes." So he somehow got rid of the snakes, and anyhow, I don't know how he did it. I was raised by my grandparents, by the way. So,
Okay. Wow. Wow, that must have been scary. I would have been running too.
well, I had hair then, so
Well, you look good to me now.
oh well, I got it polished up good today, I guess.
Well, so you said that you have 2 other books, right?
Yes.
Tell me about those.
Well, the second one is Love, Loyalty, and Brotherhood, which follows up on the first book, and it's it's about. By the way, on that island, uh, George in the first book, George meets the love of his life, and in a real short time they decide to get married. So anyhow, this one is about he's now back home, and they've discovered there's another controller for the satellite uh, weapon, and they're his job is to have boots on the ground, and they go into a foreign country. I think, well, it's Pakistan, and it tells about what the process was there when he went into that country, unbeknownst to the government, and there's concern about that. While he's there, and they find the location of the weapon, and he has a real close friend, the first sergeant Collins, and he and a medic that was assisting him after he got hit during the attack. The enemy came in, and they were in a dark place, and they captured them. And it tells about George and the recovery of the 2 captured soldiers, 2 of his men.
Wow. I mean, how do you come up with these plots?
Just like I said,
Just thinking, just going through, huh?
just that's a possibility, and then I've adjusted my thoughts a lot as I wrote the book. I would go to bed 2 or 3 o'clock some mornings writing on these books. So,
Wow.
and then some of it, like I had a nurse help me with his friend's wife's pregnancy, the first sergeant's wife pregnancy. Her name was Pam, and she's pregnant with her second child, a girl. And anyhow, him and 2 other guys, well, on the island when they were there, he trusted this guy that was hired by, in this case, the Chinese, to sabotage their effort there on the island. So he didn't realize what he was doing for the Chinese until he got to watching the compound and learn what they were doing. So he made friends. George released him instead of taking him captive back to headquarters. And from that point on, he became his like protector. So, and he ultimately met George's sister. Yeah, there's romance in there. More romance. Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
That's
Wow.
life, right?
That's life. It definitely is life.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking. Wow. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Mann, for being on the show today.
Well, thank you again for having me.
Anytime. We're going to have his book. It is The Adventures of George Lee, A Race Against Time, as well as the other 2 books are there as well, I believe. So right on Amazon. And am I correct, Mr. Orville?
Well, the first 2 are.
The first 2 are, and then the third one
there yet or not.
Okay. Well, we'll be waiting for it.
All right. and also I got a sample contract from Netflix. So I don't know if that'll pursue or not, but the people that published the book
that is so cool.
Sent me this sample contract, so they had to get the movie script so in order to proceed with my signing the contract.
That is so cool. Congratulations.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I do hope so as well. Well, my goodness, a Netflix author. I can see it. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Mr. Mann, thank you so much for being on the show. And again, we're going to have those links in the description box below, so it'll be easy for you guys to go ahead and get that.
Thank you, Yaya.
No problem. And thank you guys so much for being on the show, and taking a part of it, because the show wouldn't be without you. It wouldn't be good. Just wouldn't be good. Am I right, Mr. Mann?
If you say so. I've been married 62 years, so yes, dear.
I think he's got it. And until next time, guys, don't forget to dare to be different. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.